I gotta wait? How long I gotta wait for a press record?
Go.
Welcome to the shed, where Miss Dream always has a story.
It's Dream, and we got a season 2. Your Black Bostonian here, a product of a single mother who I work to make proud every single day. I'm a 3-degree holder, your veteran educator, your tech entrepreneur, and founder of the Chair platform. My platform is dedicated to supporting Black and Brown people on their hair journey by creating hair boards, connecting to hairstylists, and sharing haircare tips for a more joyous experience. My podcast is about sharing hair stories, educator stories, entrepreneurship stories, and stories surrounding identity with goals to leave you laughing, learning, and advocating. So come in and listen to the stories in the chair.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Sarah. Sarah, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Spoto. I'm the founder of Badii. It's Badii. It's a Swiss-inspired wellness brand, and the host of Badii Talk, where we talk about spas and saunas and bathing culture from all over the world. And what I'm trying to do is create this beautiful, inclusive bathing experience for everyone here in North America.
Sarah and I met in college, and she was my sorority sister in Tri Delta. When I was a freshman, you were a senior, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah.
Wait, what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2015.
Oh, okay. So I graduated in 2012. So I guess like 3-year difference. Did I just do the math? And then I had to make sure I did graduate in 2012. Yeah. Yeah, I did.
And Sarah, what I remember from college, which was really, really cool, is that Sarah was always doing something. You were running a nonprofit. You brought me and my roommate into the city, and we went to a Mary Kay event with you. You also helped me apply to a scholarship to do grant work. I didn't get it, but it was the coolest experience to apply. And then on top of that, you were also an artist. And so it was really cool just to have all these conversations and be like, yep, that's my sorority sister. We're chilling. And then a couple months ago, you reached out and I was like, yo, it's been forever. And we were catching up and you invited me on to an episode of Badii Talk and I was super, super excited about it. And so I was like, okay, well, if I'm on your podcast, can you come on mine? And you said, yeah. So I'm so excited for you to be here.
Ultimate collaboration.
Yes. And so I'm curious to know, did you always have a feeling that you would end up being an entrepreneur?
So since I was young, always wanted to be an archaeologist. I loved like mummy stuff. I had this like kids archaeology magazine that I subscribed to. I think it was called like Dig or something like that. I loved history. And so when I went to college to go study like anthropology, archaeology, but then I took an economics course at Lake Forest and I changed my major to business because I never thought about the world in that way. And I was just like really hooked on it. And also had an amazing professor, Professor Tuttle, if you remember her.
Oh, yeah, I remember Professor Tuttle. I never got lucky enough to have her, but
she's amazing.
She was the advisor of Tri Delta. So we had some lunches
That's
together.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was so cool all around, but really opened my eyes to economics and just kind of, got me hungry for studying that. And I also studied art, so I have a dual degree in business and studio art as well. But yeah, that really kind of got me interested in business from like an academic standpoint. But I think I've always been interested in entrepreneurship, like generally. Like I always had this idea that I would love to have my own business. And I think it kind of stemmed from the artist side of things for me, because like I remember growing up, my grandma was a big crafter. So she would go to these craft fairs and I remember seeing her sell her work. And I'm like, oh, that's like the ultimate, like in my mind as a kid, I was like, that's the ultimate show of value. Like somebody's going to pay her for her art, for her crafts. Like that exchange, I think is so powerful. So I kind of came from that. And, my dad was an entrepreneur as well. So kind of growing up with that and having that mentality, my great grandparents who immigrated from Sicily, they had their own business. And so I think it was kind of just also in the family as well.
What was it about the course you took with Professor Tuttle that was different than what you imagined it to be?
Well, I think it was just like a different way of thinking, like the logic of economics. Like once you learn about economics, even just like the principles, like the basics, you just start to understand the world differently. And obviously we live in a capitalist society. So understanding those principles, you start to see, you just understand your world a little bit more. And I think it just kind of opened up a different perspective for me.
Can you give me an example of a principle that you learned in economics class and how that changed your thinking in real time for you at that time, at that age?
Yeah, I mean, even like the basics of supply and demand and just like understanding the relationship there. Because I never, unless you're taught this stuff, like at least I didn't like naturally think of the world in that way, right? And if, the relationship between having a constrained supply and how that affects demand and vice versa was really interesting. And I also remember, really getting excited about Adam Smith and kind of the invisible hand and like the force of economics and how it affects society in a really powerful way as well. So it just like kind of exposed me to thinking of it as another system. There's so many systems at play in our life. This is another system that is affecting how much we're paying for things, the jobs that we do, our value in the marketplace, as business people or as entrepreneurs, and just another way to think about how all of that works and explain it.
You are majoring in business and you still have that love of art and you're seeing the entrepreneurs surrounding you. You didn't jump right in to Badii. You did corporate for a little bit, and then Badii came out of your experiences over there. Why do you think that you decided to go corporate first?
Well, it really came from a need. I had student loans, and I felt at the time somehow that there was this like, and this was 2012 when I graduated, and even between then and business school, and I graduated from business school in 2017, and I went back into corporate after business school too, even though again, I would have loved to do entrepreneurship. But like at that time, there was this venture capital was huge. You heard about Silicon Valley and how people were saying, oh yeah, I'm a college dropout. And I started Mark Zuckerberg and his story and how he started his business. And I'm like, that was sort of the glorified version of an entrepreneur. But I think now we know this, or at least I do, like that's such a privileged take on entrepreneurship. Like a lot of us either, even if we don't have student loans, we don't have a safety net necessarily to be able to like quit college and start a business and take on a ton of risk. And I had student loans to pay. And so I wasn't able to do it financially. That said, it was absolutely the best thing for me to do because, now I'm 35. I'm working on this business. I have so much experience. I learned so much from my corporate experience, from business school, from undergrad. I've built this amazing network, and there's so much power in network. And I probably could have been successful, but I think there's a much higher chance that I'll be successful now that I have that experience and that perspective. And I'm not trying to get venture capital investment. I'm trying to build this organization on my terms with my values and grow it organically at the pace that I want to grow it so that we can do the things that I think are important to us and our mission. And I think I would have had a very different approach if I had tried to start this business a lot younger and in a different financial situation.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Look, It's my commercial. We will be right back.
It's more than just a bad hair day. It's a journey. Finding the right hairstyle isn't easy, nor is finding the right stylist or the right products. Looking in every corner of the web gets messy, overwhelming, and exhausting. All the ads, the articles, the products, the videos, it shouldn't be this hard, but it is. And now, it isn't. The Chair. A black and brown centered platform where you can design hair boards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a new, joyful path on your hair journey. Avoid the clutter, save yourself hours, months, and even years of research and poor trial and error. Everything you need and only what you need is in one place. Hair boards made by people like you, for you. Find the right products, the right people, the right answers for you, stress-free. Join the Chair community and make every day a great hair day. When you share your pain, you allow others to help you. And when you share your success, you help others get theirs. Lean on the Chair. We got you. No stress, no strife. In the chair. The chair. The chair. All right.
Can you explain how Badii came to be?
So I was living in Switzerland. I was working for Cadillac Europe, and I was in Switzerland for 2 years. And I was over there doing automotive stuff. So nothing related to bathing at all. Still very passionate about it. I'm still very passionate about electric vehicles and automotive, but I lived in a town outside of Zurich called Baden, Switzerland. And I lived there because I had just moved from Shanghai, which is the second largest city in the world, where I was during the pandemic, and which is another story. I feel like that's a novel, but I had an amazing experience overall. It was a very chaotic experience. And so I didn't even want to live in Zurich. And Zurich is such a small city. I think it's like 500,000 people, which is like a village in China. But I was like, I don't even want to live in Zurich. Like, I want to live somewhere even more chill. And so I picked Baden, Switzerland. Baden actually means baths in Swiss German. And the reason it's named Baden is because there are these thermal baths there. And there is actually the most mineral-rich thermal water in all of Switzerland in Baden. And I had never really been a spa person. Like, I always thought spas were for, like wealthy people, or like you go and you get a facial and, maybe you get a massage or something. And that was like never my vibe really. So it actually took me a while to go to the spa there. But then when I did, I realized like spa culture, bathing culture in Switzerland is so much different than what it is in the States, because it's much more accessible from a price standpoint, number one, much more affordable. Then the amenities are incredible. And there's just this high standard of design and hygiene, and the quality of the water, and, the environmentalism behind it and sustainability behind it. And then what really touched me is in Baden, there's this cooperative, a group of people from the community who came together to build these public baths. So there's these basically granite or stone baths. They're outside. They're right on the river in Baden. And it's naturally fed thermal water right from the hot spring, untreated. So it's really hot. I think it's 47 degrees, which is Celsius, which I think is like 150 Fahrenheit. So very hot. And it's open to the public. You can just walk up and go into the hot springs. They have an area where you can drink the water. It's very high in magnesium and it's free. And I'm like, okay, this is really cool. Like, this is different than how we do things in the States. And this like ethos around everybody has a right to the water, the healing water in particular. But even when you look all over Switzerland, the Swiss are swimming in the lakes, they're swimming in the rivers. There's always like a Swiss person in a body of water, like at any given moment. You look around and you see those viral TikToks these days of like Swiss people floating down the river. And that happens. like every day people will commute to work that way. So it's just this,
not,
yeah.
not commuting to work.
I'm serious. You get these dry bags. I have one. You put your work clothes in it, you roll it up, and then it has a little bit of like buoyancy to it. And then you float down the river, and then you can change when you get to work. I've never done it because I lived like 20 miles down 20 miles down the river. Like I could technically do it, but it would take me a long time. I probably would have hit a dam. So, but yeah, so it was just this ethos around bathing, and like I just, the way that it brought the community together and how it was much more accessible and healthy and a part of life, like in an integrated way. And I'm like, I feel like I want to be a part of bringing some of that to the US. So that's what Badii is about. And the way that we're doing that is evolving even as, the business goes on. So, but that's the core mission. And I think that will stay the same.
So this is something I've been wrestling with mentally when I'm online, and they're talking about how service-oriented businesses fall in line of having to build lifestyle brands. And I'm wondering, because what you're building is service-oriented, it is making people aware of just a lifestyle change. If you agree, like your business is trying to just create a new world for people to imagine themselves in, instead of it feeling like it's a luxury, but to make it feel like it's common.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, I still would describe Badii as a luxury because I was just thinking about this yesterday. Like, what I like about bathing is like, it's inherently like a leisure activity, right? You're not, you're just, to some extent, you're usually relaxing when you're bathing, doing any type of bathing, right? But on the other hand, it's an absolute necessity, and it's something we all do everywhere in the world as humans. And I think that that's important. Like, it's a leisure activity which has some degree of luxury to it, and it's also luxurious in a lot of sense if you're doing it in nature. There's something really special and magical about that, but it's also a necessity and something we all share. And so that's kind of the approach with Badii, is like, I want to retain some feeling of luxury and magic because it is a luxury, but that doesn't mean it's not accessible, and it should be accessible to people. So I know that's a bit of an oxymoron because people will say, oh, well, luxury is like inherently about limiting access, and I understand that, but I'm trying to have a different definition of the luxury mindset on it, and try to bring this, what I think is a luxurious culture and experience, to more and more people.
I'm with you on that. Because for me, when I think of luxury is the ability for me to feel safe and soft at the same time. And I don't necessarily believe that money should determine that you're safe and soft. When anytime I enter a pool or I enter a bubble bath, that is a luxurious feeling for me. Anytime I decide to swim in an ocean, a lake, or dip my feet in a river, that's luxury to me.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, that's exactly right. And yeah, and I think it's like, I don't know, we've like lost the plot a little bit in a way, thinking that those types of moments need to be expensive. And I think that's also a bit of an American mindset as well. And like, we obviously culturally have a lot more trouble relaxing and, taking rest, not because we think we work so hard, we deserve it, or, oh, if we rest more, we're going to be more productive. Like, sometimes you just need to rest, and because you need it, and that's it. And like, I think it unfortunately is a bit of a luxury for people to have access to that rest, but it shouldn't be. It's something we should all have access to. So, yeah.
Yeah, this makes me think about wash day for my hair journey, and many of the hair journeys that have been talked about on my podcast. And people who are unfamiliar with wash day, it is really a day to focus on your hair. And you don't rush wash day. You can't rush wash day because sometimes there's multiple elements, there's different products, there's different stages that you have to do. And when that day is treated as a beautiful extension of who you are, a rediscovery of who you are, it's a luxurious moment for me. It's as a kid, it could just feel burdensome because
Yeah.
you're doing a lot of
Want
this
to do
stuff.
something
Yeah, I
else.
want to do something else,
Yeah.
hang out, do stuff with
Yeah.
friends, draw, color, all types of things, But as an adult, I'm like, okay, like this Sunday is my wash day. Like I'm gonna do all the things. I'm gonna talk to my hair, just have another love letter written to my hair with my hands and with all the products that I put into my hair.
Yeah. I that resonates with me. I don't do as much effort for, like taking care of my hair in that way, or I guess like I should say it doesn't take me that long where I have to dedicate a whole day. But like on Friday nights, I like to do like a special routine where I'm doing like extra exfoliating and, I do a face mask and, I have my gua sha and I do these kind of extra things. And yeah, it's luxurious, but it's like, yeah, these things are not, they're basic things, but they're important and it helps, I think, move the week forward. And it's important for you to take the time for yourself to do that if you can.
Oh, and if you're interested to learn more about my experiences as a Black woman and educator in Guangzhou, China, I wrote my first ebook titled Nowhere and Everywhere, Captured Emotions of a Beautifully Broken Love Story. It is on lulu.com. Take a read and see some beautiful photography of mine. Enjoy the rest of the show. You bringing this movement to the U.S. to be able to be a constant reminder that rest is necessary, that rest and luxury should be accessible, and we should reframe that conversation. What if people are not really bathers or they don't see the benefit? What would you say to them?
Well, I would encourage them to have a more of an open mindset on it because, if you don't consider yourself a bather, you probably still are. So, for example, I have an episode coming up on Badii Talk where I bring in a sound healing facilitator and he's talking about sound bathing. And there's also this Japanese concept of forest bathing, which is spending time in nature and just really specifically a forest and kind of paying attention to the trees and to the nature and to the sound and being immersed in it. So there's many different types of bathing. I think the important thing is actually more of the outcome of these experiences, which is, in many cases you're connecting with nature, but you're also slowing down, you're being present. It really is a shift behaviorally from kind of like a constant like go mentality is shifting you out of that. For me, like sauna, which is more of a typical bathing activity, does a really good job of getting me out of that a certain headspace because the heat is so intense. And for some people, cold plunge does that because it's so intense. But for sure, walking in nature, maybe you don't live near the woods, but you walk through your park and there's still the science behind it is still strong that does have a positive effect on you. So even if it's not these extreme sort of bathing things, or, I used to be the kind of person I was like, I don't want to go to a public pool. And I still kind of don't love public pools. And also, I never took baths and I still don't take baths at home. Actually, I don't even have a bathtub, but I know. But like, I still consider, for me, I try to create special moments in my shower. I do cold shower, so I can get some like cold exposure, but also like creating some spa moments in the shower with like, being critical of the type of soap that I'm using or trying to create, a certain spa like atmosphere in my shower. That's to me is still that bathing experience. So it can mean different things for different people, but I think the point is getting you out of your kind of like, breaking the cycle of maybe anxiety or stress or whatever it might be, breaking that, slowing down, being aware of your surroundings, and also hopefully connecting with other people in some cases as well.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much for sitting in the chair. I truly, truly appreciate it.
Thank you. This was such a great discussion. I'm not surprised. All your episodes go so deep, and I always learn something. I learned something today. I hope your listeners do as well. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dream always has a story.
Thank you for listening to an episode of The Chair. I'm going to share with you a dream of mine. I would love to be on Sesame Street. Sesame Street held my hand through childhood. In my dream, I would be in my big afro or rainbow braids sitting on the stoop sharing hair stories. I would like your help, please, by doing all the things like leave a review, share it with someone who would benefit from hearing this episode. And if you know someone who knows someone who knows someone at Sesame Street, share your favorite episode with them, and I'll make you some of my famous chocolatey hot chocolate. I hope you have a beautiful day, or if you are like me, still up in the middle of the night, I hope you take a deep breath and rest. Love you. Talk to you later.
The chair.
Hello. Please leave a message after the tone.
Dream, hello. I just wanted to tell you you're wonderful. I just got through going through your podcast. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Keep it up. Maybe I need to send it to Oprah and Tyler Perry. Love you, baby. You are great.
Where we share stories in the chair.